Hi, I'm Evan Pantazi. Wanted to talk to you today about a question that came in from David Pinedo, and he was asking what the relevance was with the chinkuchi or vibrations in the Kyusho strikes. And I can't really speak to it as well because I don't use a vibration. I use more of a pulsing action, which is a short, sharp shock. And that's because you're trying to send an acute message to the brain via the electrical systems or the nervous system of the human anatomy in the nerve respects. And with that, you can't just vibrate because, like, when you're trying to, if you hit your head, for example, on a countertop or wherever a table, if you're underneath picking something up, you bang your head. What do you instantly do? Is you rub the area. That's a vibration. And the reason for that is your body instinctively knows to get rid of the pain or the messaging of an acute message. What you need to do is you need to do a diverse message. So a lot of little sensory nerves are picking up the information and sending it to the brain, and the brain sort of balances out instead of a one sharp shock that causes more of an imbalance. So for that aspect, for a Kyusho strike, if you want to debilitate someone or dysfunction someone, you're going to need a short, sharp shock, sort of like a 1-inch punch, 2-inch punch, like Bruce Lee made famous. You can also do it with compressions, and you can do it with grabbing, seizing actions as well. So that's my take on the vibrations. There is a vibration. I mean, you want to rub a muscle spindle cell, or you want to rub a Golgi tendon organ, but that's different again because it's a short burst in a one directional attack rather than shaking back and forth, because that again causes more of a vibration, causes more of a diffuse message, and it causes less pain and dysfunction. It's also, I mean, let's face it, if you're in combat trying to vibrate a hand on someone's head or body, that's going to be next to impossible unless you're grappling. And yeah, you can rub something like the sternum or something. A lot of people know that one. Or you rub under the philtrum, under the nose, on the philtrum there, and you cause all sorts of pain and dysfunction. There are certain places where I guess that would work, but in a fight, I'm not going to rub someone under the nose. I'm just going to belt it with a short, sharp lateral shock to not only stretch the nerve, but also to cause that acute messaging. So that would be my answer on that. But a great question. I'd like you to keep them coming. One other thing, when you're doing a compression, as example, you're not going to rub it back and forth. You're going to make sure that you go in one direction. In that one direction, again, let's say on the blood, for example, because we talked about the nerves. In the blood, you can't really vibrate the blood either because you're just massaging the vascular tissue, and that's not a problem for the body. It can handle it very well. But if you pulse into it, now in this manner, you can either rush energy along its path. It depends on which direction and what aspect, of course, of the body that you're affecting there with that, or you're pulling the blood supply away from, say, either the brain or the limbs to cause the dysfunction. So again, you would want to lay into that with one pulsing action, not a rubbing action to release the pressure on the vascular tissue and then apply it again. You just want to apply it with such force in one direction that you get a better result. So it doesn't really work with the blood as well. And like I said, you can rub a Golgi tendon, say the elbow tendon that everybody knows. You can rub that back and forth, but what happens is you're going to move the person back and forth. Now, if in combat, you really don't want them going forward and then coming back and then going forward again. That's just a waste of time. You want one burst of energy that ends the situation as quickly as possible. I mean, that's what punching, kicking is all about. One shot, supposedly, to stop the confrontation. So to go in both directions, you're going to push the person away, you're going to pull the person in, you're going to drop them forward, you're going to drop them back toward you so they can grapple onto your legs. It's just easier just to go in one direction, whichever direction you want to throw that individual in. So the nerves, the muscle spindle cells, the Golgi tendon receptors, whatever you're trying to work with, it would work better with pulsing or a short, sharp, sudden shock. So another great question. So I thank you very much. Now it does have a weakening effect, by the way. Excuse me. I should clarify this. Like if you're doing a grapple, if you're grappled and you're both like locked on with a lot of power and your body's tense, a vibration will send that diffused message again to the brain and send all sorts of other signals out to the body and subsequently weaken the body as the vibration goes on. Again, do you have that kind of time in a real fight? I don't know. If you in the dojo, yeah, sure, for sure. You know, you can pull off anything in the dojo, but can you pull it off in a real fight? That's the situation. Or under stress, and that's something we always do in Kyusho International. Is we don't just hit a point and look for the results. We do it in combative action. And on the videos here, I know we only do it in demonstrative ways where a person's standing, and of course that's all we're going to put out in the public, because the basis of our people are beginners that are coming to us from YouTube. The other ones have already invested in their education over the years with an instructor. They've joined into a program. They've got a video series, a video subscription to get more in-depth information. The YouTube is here for the beginners to answer the questions, and even for the advanced people to ask a question that nobody seems to know the answer for. Hopefully we do, or we've had some experience with it. Now my experience comes mostly because I've worked in many different countries over decades promoting this, and it's my full-time profession, so I get my hands on a lot of people, done a lot of experimentation, and if I don't know something, I'm going to tell you I don't know it, and that's why I said I couldn't really speak to the vibration in Kyusho, because I don't really use it, but just giving you some examples and some ideas from my past experiences. We've had some people that have done the crazy type knockouts where you try to put your palm on the gallbladder cluster, as they call it. And remember, the gallbladder cluster is just a series of meridians in the body, and what you need to do is actually attack the nerves. Now shaking a nerve, like I said, doesn't really have any effect. If you shake it fast enough where the head whiplashes back and you activate the reticular activating system from a shock to the brainstem, well, yeah, that can work. So whether you want to call that a vibration or whether you rather call it a shock to the system, which it is, if you jerk the head back really quickly, then you're going to send an acute message to the brainstem, and that's why that works. Not so much the rubbing of the forehead or the meridians. And if you are attacking nerves, it's the same process. If you're attacking the supraorbital nerve under the eyebrow, as an example, there's 2 locations on each eye that the supraorbital nerve exits from the back of the eye socket. If you rub those, it's not that bad. I mean, if you rub it with knuckles, sure, it hurts because you're on the skin and you're on a hard bone. But to get the debilitating effects, those areas really need to be struck. All right, and that's to send that acute message in. If you vibrate it with like maybe a quick 1 pulse slide on the nerve, it's possible to loosen up the neck enough that the head jerks back and you could get a knockout that way. But again, it's not because of the vibrations on the nerve. It's more because you're just snapping the head back and attacking the brainstem via that reticular activating system and that whiplash type of an effect. So, David, thank you again for a question. This is the second question you've asked. I thank you very much for having to come in. For those of you that haven't asked a question, if you got one, ask it, and I'll try to handle it just the way we're handling it here. Getting kind of loud. We got a little boat out here that's traveling. This is the guy that goes in and puts all the buoys out and all the markers for all the boats that are in the harbor here. It got kind of loud, so we're going to say goodbye for now. See you tomorrow.